Sometimes in life, we feel as though something greater is hidden within us, something more than what we show to the world, a power that awakens only in special moments, a calling that we hear in silence. Shadow, light, fire, what exactly lives within you? Each person wears their own crown, not an ornament, not a symbol of power, but a reflection of who they are deep inside, in the most honest version of themselves, the one they often keep silent about, but which cannot be hidden from fate. Today, 4 crowns lie before you. Each carries its own energy, its own story, its own nature, and one of them will surely resonate with you. Don't rush. Look at each one. Feel its character. Notice which one awakens emotions, which words or thoughts appear in your mind. The choice you make is no accident. Sometimes the soul responds faster than the mind. When you're ready, make your choice and discover what power of royal nature lives within you.
If you chose the first crown, this is no coincidence. It draws to itself those in whom a special nature lives, quiet but unyielding. This is the crown of the inner leader, a person capable of leading others without even knowing they do so. You are someone who knows how to hold the course, even when the world crumbles around you, and remain a support when others lose direction. At first glance, this crown seems simple, even restrained, nothing excessive, no blinding brilliance. It has no screaming grandeur, no cold pomposity, no desire to appear. But this is where its true strength lies. This crown is not about external luxury, but about inner core. It shines not with the brightness of gold, but with the strength of character that is honed through years of trials. If you chose it, you are a person who knows how to make decisions. And even if you sometimes doubt yourself, to those around you, your confidence seems rock solid. In difficult moments, you don't panic, but instinctively begin searching for a way out. You don't belong to those who leave everything to chance. Your nature is to analyze, gather facts, sense the atmosphere, see what a superficial glance misses. You are someone who feels responsibility as something natural. It doesn't need to be imposed on you. You yourself pick up what others leave on the ground. Sometimes even too much. Sometimes you carry on yourself what should have long been shared or released, but you're not used to retreating and not used to showing weakness. However, it's important to understand, the strength you carry within is not about harshness. It's about maturity, about the ability to see further, feel deeper, act more precisely than others. This is strength that builds, not breaks, strength that guides, not suppresses. People who choose this crown often grow through overcoming. You learned much yourself, going through difficult situations that could have broken someone else. Where others fell, you rose. Where others got lost, you sought the path. Where others gave up, you gathered your will and moved forward. And though it may sometimes seem that no one notices this, the world always sees those who hold the foundation. In relationships, such a personality is rare. You're reliable. People feel protected next to you. You can be strict, demanding, but your demands come from care. You don't play with feelings, don't manipulate, and don't make empty promises. If you say yes, you keep your word. If you're silent, you're thinking, not ignoring. But sometimes your strength becomes your own shadow. You may take on too much. You may fear asking for help. You may endure too long hoping to solve everything yourself. Sometimes you believe that being strong means not showing fatigue. Actually, it's not so. And one of the tasks this crown sets before you is to learn to share your burden, not hide it inside. You are a person who doesn't seek recognition, but fate is arranged so that sooner or later you receive it anyway, because people see in you reliability, leadership, stability. Even if you don't consider yourself a leader, Others feel exactly this energy in you. And most amazing, you're capable of leading not by shouting, not by orders, but by your own example. You are the one who does, and by doing, inspires, who walks and shows the way, who believes and makes others believe. Crown number 1 is the crown of those who came into this world with a calling to strengthen, protect, and guide. This is the crown of a person whose strength lies in depth, not in facade. If you chose it, then within you lives a natural ability to unite people, create structure from chaos, raise what is destroyed, and be that quiet but reliable axis around which everything revolves. This is strength that cannot be faked, strength that cannot be taken away, strength that makes you yourself. And if you feel resonance in these words, know you're walking your path and your crown rests on you not by accident.
If you chose the crystal crown, this speaks about you far more than may seem at first glance. You have a special type of inner light that doesn't strive to blind or attract attention. It's created to clarify, calm, and align. You are a person who feels the world deeper and more subtly than most, and your choice speaks of a striving for honesty, transparency, inner purity. You belong to that rare type of people who seek not power and not noisy manifestations of strength, but meaning, clarity, and authenticity. You value truth even when it's uncomfortable. You have an almost innate ability to notice what others miss. When a person says one thing but feels another, you see it. When the atmosphere in a room changes, even if no one said anything, you feel it. When there's calm on the face but tension inside, you read it. You catch cracks beneath smooth surfaces, hear genuine notes in others' words, notice micro-vibrations of moods that cannot be explained logically. You react not to loudness, but to honesty, not to words, but to state. And this makes you a person who is difficult to lie to and impossible to deceive with beautiful gestures or loud declarations. In your soul, there's no cold glass, though sometimes you may seem detached or observant. This is not coldness, but depth, not distance, but attentiveness. You know how to maintain external clarity even in moments of internal turmoil. People may mistake your calm manner for indifference, but it's a misunderstanding. You simply try not to spill emotions outward when there's no need for them. Inside you is not emptiness, but quiet radiance that reflects everything that approaches you. You are a person who often becomes a mirror for others. Next to you, people feel more honest, calmer, deeper. They seem to stop playing. It's easier for them to admit what they haven't even told themselves, because your energy doesn't pressure, doesn't criticize, doesn't intrude. It simply illuminates. And this evokes trust. But at the same time, this leads to the fact that those who seek support, who want to hide in your clarity, who strive to find themselves through you, are often drawn to you. And sometimes this makes you too loaded with others' energies, others' thoughts, others' pain. You are not a conflictual person by nature, but you don't tolerate falsity. When there's more game than truth in someone's words, you feel acute internal discrepancy. When someone tries to manipulate, your softness immediately becomes crystal hardness. That's precisely why people who are used to living in illusions or using others rarely remain beside you. You're too transparent for them, and your honesty exposes what they hide even from themselves. Silence is vitally important to you. Not silence as absence of sound, but silence as a space where you can hear yourself. You fill yourself through moments of solitude, through nature, water, mountains, slow sunrise, through sincere conversations where there's no struggle for attention, through people beside whom you can be silent. You become exhausted in chaotic places, among loud personalities in emotional storms that aren't yours, not because you're weak, but because you're too sensitive to other states. You absorb everything like glass, and that's why it's so important for you to be alone from time to time to return transparency to your light. Your choice speaks of the fact that you have the ability to see essence almost flawlessly. You catch true motives,
Understand where a situation is moving. Notice early signs of change. You read between the lines what others haven't even tried to write. This isn't mysticism, it's attentiveness, honesty of perception. You don't try to imagine, you simply feel what stands behind the surface. The crystal crown is not about coldness, it's about purity. Not about detachment, but about clarity. This is the crown of a person capable of illuminating the path for others, but not obliged to sacrifice themselves for others' expectations. It tells you that your inner light is something valuable, something that cannot be mixed with others' chaos or adjusted to those who fear truth. And the main message of your choice is this: don't confuse your light trying to please those who prefer darkness. You don't need to become louder, brighter, more convenient, or simpler. Your strength is in transparency, in depth, in the ability to see the world as it is. You are light that doesn't blind, but helps to see. And if you learn to protect your space and trust your intuition, your life will become much easier, softer, and clear. Because your path is the path of light that comes from within.
The choice of the third crown speaks of an inner world that cannot be confused with another. This is not just a crown decorated with leaves and flowers. This is a symbol of deep connection with nature, Earth's wisdom, soul's maturity, and a special type of leadership that doesn't pressure but leads through harmony. People drawn to this crown possess a unique ability to feel subtle processes, notice the imperceptible, and understand others on an almost intuitive level. This is the energy of a person capable of being a center of calm in chaos, a source of light in difficult periods, and quiet strength that requires no proof. The choice of this crown says you belong to a rare type of personality whose strength manifests not loudly, but deeply. You are a person who knows how to truly care, not for recognition and not in exchange for gratitude. You have innate softness that surrounds and calms, but inside this softness lives iron resilience. You resemble a tree that can bend in the wind, but doesn't break, because your roots, your principles, values, moral stability go so deep that external circumstances cannot uproot you. This quality makes you a support for others, even if you don't notice it yourself. The choice of this crown shows that your intuition is extraordinarily strong. You don't always explain your sensations logically, but in most cases, your internal navigation proves more accurate than rational calculations. These are people who see true motives of others, even if no one speaks of them, who feel changes in room atmosphere through slightest nuances, who predict events based on what others would consider trifles. You're not a psychic, simply attentive, deep, and tuned to the natural processes of the world, as if nature itself transmits signals to you. This makes you a person truly worth listening to. However, this gift has a flip side. You more often than others feel fatigue from emotional noise, from people who demand, pressure, or disturb internal harmony. You have an embedded need to periodically withdraw into your space, not necessarily physical, sometimes internal, to restore strength. Moments of silence, nature, solitude are vitally important to you because it's there you reassemble yourself, cleanse, and fill with energy. In a world that constantly demands activity, this quality is sometimes misunderstood, thinking you're closing off or avoiding. But actually, this is how you preserve the ability to be a strong and supporting person. The choice of this crown also says you possess a special type of wisdom, not bookish, but life wisdom. This is wisdom that comes from observations, from empathy, from understanding nature's cycles. You know how to wait when waiting is needed, act when the moment has come, and let go when holding brings pain. You perfectly sense life's natural rhythm. Therefore, you rarely make sharp, impulsive steps. Your decisions are balanced, calm, and surprisingly accurate. It's to such people that others come for advice because you know how to hear not only the problem but the person behind it. Those who choose this crown often become quiet leaders, those who lead not through pressure and demands, but through their own example, kindness, consistency, and internal balance. You don't need to loudly declare your virtues because those around you are drawn to your energy themselves. You're seen as a person who can be trusted, who won't betray, won't let down, and won't use another's weakness. You create an atmosphere of safety, and in the modern world, this is valued more strongly than the most brilliant external force. Another trait that distinguishes you, you have a highly developed sense of beauty, sometimes aesthetic, sometimes spiritual. You notice harmony in details, value nuances, love for your surroundings to be beautiful, natural, organic. Therefore, you're attracted to a crown where gold intertwines with leaves, jewels with nature's liveliness, and mathematical symmetry with natural unpredictability. This crown reflects not external luxury, but soul's natural grandeur, and it's exactly this that's close to you. If you chose this crown, your main strength is naturalness. You don't try to be who you're not, and don't build masks. You accept your emotions, people around you, the world in its chaotic nature and beauty. This doesn't make you naive. On the contrary, you deeply understand reality, but choose to respond to it softly, with respect and calm. And in this lies your true royal energy. This crown symbolizes a personality that walks through life not with the thunder of steps, but with a trail of light that remains after them.
Your choice of the fourth crown reveals something special about you, something that doesn't lie on the surface and doesn't manifest immediately. This crown symbolizes strength, born in depth, formed through collision of light and shadow, through internal searches, through the ability to remain honest with yourself when others choose illusions. Such a crown attracts those whose soul doesn't fear dark corners, who can hear quiet signals of intuition, and who are ready to step further even when the path is shrouded in fog of the unknown. If you chose exactly this crown, it means within you lives internal energy that's difficult to describe in simple words. It's not loud, not screaming, but impossible not to notice. People often sense in you something strong, deep, almost magnetic. They may not understand the nature of this sensation, but it makes them treat you with respect, sometimes even with slight awe. This is not showy confidence. This is quiet, mature, collected confidence that comes only through personal experience, through struggle, through the ability not to lower your eyes when reality becomes complex. Your character is a mixture of sharp mind, subtle intuition, and powerful internal discipline. You know how to see what's hidden from others. You sense changes earlier than they become visible. Sometimes, it seems you simply guessed, but actually it's intuitive recognition, your innate skill. You're capable of reading people's emotions, understanding true motives, distinguishing truth from lies. Even when everything externally looks perfect, you cannot be deceived by beautiful shell. You always look deeper. You're among those who don't fear their own darkness. You know how to look inside yourself honestly, without self-deception, without attempts to hide unpleasant truths under the rug. This quality makes you incredibly stable. You don't hide from pain. You live through it, process it, and emerge from difficult periods stronger than you were before them. Hence, your wisdom. It's not bookish, not affected, not artificial. This is wisdom of a person who understood much and lived through much, but kept their heart alive. You don't strive to meet others' expectations. You can listen to opinion, but always make the decision yourself. Inside you is your own compass, which you trust more than the noise of the surrounding world. Sometimes this makes you mysterious, even slightly unpredictable in others' eyes. But this is part of your strength. You live not by template, but by internal truth. In relationships, you value depth and sincerity,
Surface contacts aren't enough for you. You strive for genuine connection. You're attentive to people who enter your circle of trust, but you don't let anyone in accidentally. Your heart opens rarely, but if it opens, then completely. You know how to love strongly, deeply, and with real feeling, not its illusion. Your path through life resembles an alchemist's path. You know how to turn difficulties into strength, chaos into clarity, disappointment into experience. You're capable of changing yourself if you feel it's necessary. You don't hold on to the old just because it's familiar. You have a rare quality, the ability to let go of people, situations, past versions of yourself. You know how to move forward even if the path isn't clear, because you feel that movement is life. Externally, you may seem calm and collected, but inside you burn a steady, stable fire. It gives you energy, persistence, internal core. You don't explode with emotions over trifles, but when strength needs to be shown, you show it so that everyone understands before them stands a person who cannot be broken. Your choice of this crown says you are a person of depth, a person of internal light who illuminates the path for themselves and others. You know the value of words, actions, relationships. You know how to see essence, and this makes you special. The most important message: within you lives the power of transformation. You were born not just to live, but to constantly become better, wiser, and deeper. You are a person who creates themselves, and your path is the path of internal evolution.
At the moment when you chose your crown, you did far more than just a visual choice. You met with that part of yourself that usually speaks quieter than others, with the internal voice that knows what you truly need. Each crown is not an ornament. It's a form of your state, a way in which you hold your internal world. For some, it's strength, tradition, and stability. For others, it's crystal transparency of feelings and depth of intuition. Someone carries soft connection with nature and ability to heal, and someone chooses wise darkness, space where decisions and new forms of self are born. You chose the energy that already lives within you, the one that waited for you to pay attention to it. But it's important to remember, a crown is not titles and not roles. It's a reminder that you have your own gifts, your own ways of holding yourself and your life, that you can be strong in a feminine way, soft in your own way, stable in your own way, bright or deep as you wish. All these states already belong to you, and today's choice is a step toward acknowledging them. Stay a little in this sensation. Feel that the crown is not on your head, but inside you. It doesn't press, doesn't obligate, doesn't force you to keep your back straight. It simply glows with the quiet, stable light of your own nature. And if days come when you forget about your strength, revisit your choice. Sometimes just one glance is enough to remember who you've always been. Thank you for taking this journey. You heard your inner queen, and now she will walk with you, not ahead, not behind, but beside you.